What are we thankful for this year? As we approach Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. What exactly are we thankful for this year? You know, one of the funniest things is you can search because I feel like it's a known thing now that the origin story of Thanksgiving is bullshit. I feel like it. I feel like everyone knows, Christopher Columbus didn't discover America, any of that, but yet history.com, I thought it'd be funny just to Google the origin of Thanksgiving. It goes, in 1621, the Plymouth colonists and the Wampanoag shared an autumn harvest feast that is acknowledged today as one of the first Thanksgiving celebrations in the colonies. In September 1620, a small ship called the Mayflower left Plymouth, England, carrying 102 passengers, an assortment of religious separatists seeking a new home where they could freely practice their faith, and other individuals lured by the promise of prosperity and land ownership in the new world. That's why we eat. Anyway, all that's bullshit. While most of our history as technology and as people speak and as people do research grow, we start to realize that most of the stuff we were taught in grade schools, bullshit. Most of the stuff that this country was built off of, lies and bullshit, right? It's the term ignorance is bliss. Every year I am blessed to be on this earth, the more I understand that quote. I never forget when I first heard it and I didn't quite understand it, because ignorance is ignorance. How can you be happy and ignorant? It was all about being smart. It was all about knowing all. Ignorance is bliss. And it sure is, because the more you learn about your government and your taxes and politics and the world and people, the less bliss you have. But yes, on this episode, welcome to another episode of Who Got the Aux Podcast. I wanted to discuss what are we thankful for, but I didn't want to do the cliche things, right? You sit at a dinner, some elder statesman at the dinner goes, what are you guys thankful for? People go, health, and, having my family, and new job, and whatever. It's subjective to whatever it may be. A little kid might tell you they're happy to have a hot bag of Cheetos. You never know, right? They're thankful to have that. But I wanted to ask myself that question, process it live on a podcast, and come to an understanding of what I'm really thankful for, in hopes that you hear this and maybe you could do the same and maybe get a perspective on life you didn't have before. So let's dive into it, right? I remember, second. I'm going to call you back. I'm just started recording. Fun times. I remember earlier this year, when I was starting this content creating journey, right? And I always tell people, when you pray for something, when you ask for something, whether it's you believe in God or a higher power, it's usually for something like major, like, I hope I get this job. I hope we get this house. I hope, some people hope this girl calls me back. I hope it's something that's important, right? You want to know what I was praying for earlier this year? I was praying for consistency, right? I've been doing this for a while, whether it's the music. I've did 100+ episode podcast before with a group. I'm doing it again by myself. Made beats. I've been out here doing things, right? But I always knew in my head, and I never said it because who would say that, but I always knew that I wasn't giving it my best, right? I was smart enough, and I've been like this since in school. I always say I'm probably too smart for my own good, but I was smart enough to do just enough to be presentable, but not enough to really change how people look at me as far as my content or what I'm selling to someone, right? And it will always bother me because I would put something out and people would mess with it probably off the strength of who I was, but it would be And I always think in the back of my head, I was like, well, I mean, if they messed with that, if I was, if I did more, if I had more time or actually gave it more of my time, I would have killed it. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, right? So when I started this journey, I wanted to really take this seriously, and I was just praying for consistency and discipline, which are two. I have to post pictures. I have two frames on the back. I don't know if you can see this. Oh, the mic's in the way. This one says discipline, and that one says consistency. Big frames. I wanted them in my room, so every time I walked in, I knew what it was about. I knew what time it was. But again, back to what you hope for, what you pray for, what you reach out for. It's usually these things, jobs, whatever. I was just wanting to be consistent. I just wanted to respect the process. I wanted to dive into the process. I wanted to really take it seriously. And now a lot of you might not admit this out loud or to other people, and you don't have to. I'm at a point where I can speak on this, but we know deep down when we bull crapping. We know when we shortcutting, when we not really taking something seriously. Like we might be able to fool people on the outside because we're able to package it a certain way, and people are like, whoa, you da 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 da. But deep down, you know that you ain't really putting in that work. And that was me before, which is why I was asking for these things. I was asking for the simple things. One of my plans to get this jump started, and I still kind of use it now whenever I switch off to try something new, is to keep it simple, right? We see something and we want the end results naturally. You want the end results. You see an idea and he's like, I want that. There are steps that has to be taken to get to that, right? It's just like Google Maps. You can't get to your destination unless you take the proper steps. If it tells you go left and you go right, you might either not get there or it's going to take you longer to get there, right? It's only when you follow the directions you get to where you want to go. So I guess that. So one thing that I'm thankful for is the fact that things that I was praying for, like discipline and consistency, is now part of my DNA. I am very thankful for that. And again, it's not saying if you're thankful for material things, whatever, that you're not really. This is not the show to be judging or whatever. Everybody has their own life and everybody has things that mean something to them. But I am so thankful that when I wake up every day now, coming in here and putting in work, being dedicated to something, being committed to something, being nerded out and just obsessed with something is normal for me now. I'm very thankful for that. And continuously thankful for that. It doesn't get lost on me. It's not old. It's not like, oh, that's who I, no. Like every time I come in here and put something together, whether it's this podcast I'm doing, whether it's TikTok shorts, contents, reels, whatever the case may be, I always thank God and I always just laugh like you're doing it. Is it skyrocketed out? No, but I'm taking the steps. The steps said, get the tangibles down first. Get your process down first. Trial and error. See what works. Do your research. Get comfortable doing certain things. Get comfortable talking in front of the camera. Move your arms a little bit. Don't just sit in the pocket like this. I'll watch it and be like, okay, next episode. Make your voice louder. I can't think of the word what I'm trying to say, but project more, enunciate more, go more in detail on this topic. Those little things. Whatever the numbers do, whatever the likes do, whatever I said this last episode, that's cool. That's fine. That's part of the game. But right now I'm focused on the process, getting better, reading books. I finished a book. I was reading consistent. I finished 2 books. And again, for somebody that is trying to read, it's an accomplishment for me. All you book readers that read 20 books, cool. I'll get to your level one day. I'm not there yet, but I have a couple more that I want to start. I want to get back on that and really just get back to the simple things, to the basics. I said this last episode, you can check it out. Episode 48. I got caught up in the numbers. I got caught up in, I had some success. And then instead of sticking to the basics and sticking to my process, it just became, let me put something together to see it go viral. Let me put something together to hope it goes viral. That's very unfulfilling. I can tell you that from personal experience. Very unfulfilling trying to please the algorithm gods. You get nothing from that. And I forgot what I was watching there. I came across something, but it was saying you need to focus on the process. You need to love the process. The process is, I just hit puberty. The process is where it's at. Because let me, we've heard that, right? Like, respect the process, love the process. Let me give you an example. You ever, let's see, got a new car, right? The car you wanted, or it's a new car, smells good, whatever. And then probably after like a month or two, once everybody done seen it for the first time, once everybody done been in it for the first time, it's just a car, right? You can add something to it later or whatever, but after a while, it's just a car. A year goes by, 2 years is really just a car. 3 years, 4 years, now that bitch breaking down and it's an annoying car, right? It's the same thing with the process. Like, once I get to where I want to go, I'm assuming there's nothing really fulfilling in getting to where I want to go, right? I'm gonna wake up one day and I'm gonna have 1 million followers, and that day is gonna be great. Gonna get balloons, probably gonna do a giveaway. Everybody gonna be like, damn, you did it, you did it, you did it, you did it. That probably lasts a couple of days, 2 or 3 days. By the end of that week, if I woke up on Monday with 1 million followers, by Friday, all right, you know what I'm saying? It's like, cool. It's like the goals are to be celebrated only for so long. And then it's back to the work. It's back to the process. It's back to getting better. And that's why I've been training myself, and I got caught up. I admitted that. It happens to the best of us with the numbers and the results. The results mean nothing. You know what I'm saying? So instead of me trying to find joy, and instead of you trying to find joy and seeing how people react to the product, you need to find joy in making the product. And I can tell you, there are days, a lot of days, where I feel uninspired. I feel like this ain't it. And I come up in this room and something goes, either I'm making a graphic or I make it. And when you make it and you see it start and then you get the rolling, next thing you know, you're editing, you're posting, and then when you're done, it's like, damn, I did that. The process, whatever happens, however people perceive it, that's fine. That's the world's. So again, I am thankful that I have developed great habits to achieve things. If I had to put in so many words, I made a whole podcast out of it, but I'm happy that I've developed habits to achieve things, to see things through, to follow, to finish. A lot of y'all can relate to that. Prior to this year, start a lot of things, it heats up, and for some reason, you don't finish. I didn't finish a lot. You probably didn't finish a lot. You just don't finish. So I am thankful as this year is wrapping up, as we coming up on the Pilgrim Thanksgiving, whatever they're trying to teach the kids still, that I have great work habits. And I'm also thankful that I'm aware that they can be much better. I'm aware that I can be more disciplined. I'm aware that I could be more consistent. I'm thankful that I choose to come in this studio than to go out somewhere. I'm thankful that I rather make stuff in here than to sit and watch TV all day or sit and play video games all day. And no, this is not a anti-game, anti-binge watching. There's a time and place for everything. Trust me, there are some days where, I did enough and maybe I don't make anything that day. I watch a show, I watch a game. You got to balance it out. I'm not saying that, but I'm thankful to know that I have control. I could be watching a show. I could be snuggled up warm. I could be playing a video game. I've turned football games off. I love NFL games, Grizzly games off. I've been binge watching shows and it was getting good. Just turned it off mid-show. Like, I have that control to understand what's important. And it can be better. But I'm thankful at least I have enough to get me started. That's what I'm thankful for. Unfortunately, we woke up this morning, another shooting. Well, before I get into the serious thing, I'm thankful for my barber as well. I got a cut. I'm take the headphones off. Got a fresh cut. I ain't had a cut in about like a month and a half. So, I'm feeling good. I feel the wind over here and stuff. Had to get right for the holidays. So I'm thankful for that. But yeah, unfortunately, we woke up this morning. It's not funny. It's more like, as I get ready to say this, as someone that does shows and videos constantly, you find yourself saying this a lot. Prayers to the victims and the families. Situation. Walmart manager walks into a break room, and the story of people that were in there said it wasn't aiming at nobody specifically. Killed 10 people, then killed himself. And what's so chilling about that, besides the obvious point of killing, is these last ones. You had the friend in Mexico. You had the bus for Virginia. It's like they're going into these closed quarters. Like I can only imagine. I literally can only imagine the fear. Like it's one thing to be out in the open. You can go hide behind a building, but like you're in a room and this person comes. And there are people that survived that were telling us stories. They're traumatized for life. Right before the holidays, these 10 people's families, friends, and workers, and everybody. Thanksgiving is ruined right before the holidays. And of all places like Walmart, like we know there's jokes about how Walmart employees are disrespected and whatever the case may be. And that's what you have to deal with. Probably don't want to be there on break, getting underpaid over work. And now your leadership comes in and takes out 10 people while taking themselves. And I always hated that because I say this, if you're going to wake up with the thought to kill people and kill yourself, or to kill people in general, kill yourself. He killed himself. You could have did that first. Why do you have to take 10 people? Why do you have to take anybody? You're done with life. You're checked out. I'm saying as a shooter, if you're depressed and you want help, that's another thing. I'm saying somebody who's going to carry out mass shootings and then kill themselves. Just kill yourself first. It changes nothing. The end is the end. You just made it worse. But in their sick minds, we're going to talk about it, probably get it Netflix, because we glamorize and, oh, man. It's unfortunate. Prayers to them, to their families and friends. So yes, I'm thankful with that. I'm thankful that I made it home today. At this point, I'm thankful to make it home every day because it seems like it ain't even promised. All right. Well, thank you guys for listening. WhoGotTheAux.com, full audio episodes. Who Got the Aux, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, WhoGotTheAux_ Twitter. You can find everything you need there. Videos, content, pictures. I take pictures. I try to edit them and post them here and there. All the content's there. Subscribe, follow, do what you feel. Appreciate you watching me if you're watching. Appreciate you listening if you're listening. And thank you guys. Happy Thanksgiving. And yeah, eat stuffing for me. I love stuffing. I made a video about that. Check it out. Top 5 Thanksgiving dishes. What's yours? I named mine. Go check it out. See y'all next time. Peace out.